Good. So, for anyone who might not know, why don't you introduce yourself, your name, your tag, and your main?
All right, my name is Spencer. My tag is Strider. Um, Called that because I like Strider Hero, the old retro arcade game, and yeah, yeah, I've been playing Melee for like, oh gosh, I mean like 7, 8 years probably, and yeah, I grew up in SP,
Hmm.
so definitely definitely love it here.
That's good. That's cool. So, what's the story? So you kind of touched on like the story behind your tag. Like, do you have any story behind like your main, like how you came to choose that character?
Hmm. Yeah, I think when I was younger, I used to play Link because I really liked Link, and I thought it was cool he had a sword.
Hmm.
And then, like in in Brawl, I think Marth was pretty good.
Yep, he
You
was.
could say, yeah. And so when I played against my friend Jose, who is just like way better at Brawl than me,
Hmm.
he would always play Mario, and we would just play like a lot. We played a lot, and I think that was when I probably started playing Marth a lot, and it translated over to like PM when PM came out.
Hmm.
I think we started playing PM a lot after that,
Hmm.
and I picked Marth in that too, and he was super good in that. I mean, just super good.
Yeah. Okay. So kind of wanting to stick with a little bit of like the character you originally enjoyed, while also like picking a character that felt more competitively viable.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, definitely. I really liked the when I used to watch like Mewtwo King. I think was the Marth that was like dominant when I first started playing.
Mhm.
So it was fun to watch him, and then like kind of wonder how much cooler you could make the character
Mhm.
because he played in such like a flowcharty way.
Mhm.
Um, and so like yeah, I've always thought that his movement was super sick, and M2K uses the movement really well. Uh, but he could have played a little more creatively in the past. That's for
Mhm.
sure.
What So do you recall when you started like playing or like even just watching Melee, whichever came first, like the your sort of indoctrination in the competitive community?
Yeah, so for competitive melee, I probably started watching it first. I never really watched like competitive brawl or PM very much, but
Mhm.
I think once me and my friends started watching melee, um, what was the first tournament I watched? It might have been the Big House 4.
Okay. I mean that's a really nice tournament to watch for
Yeah, yeah.
the
What?
first time.
When was that? Big House
I
4.
want to say it was late October, maybe like October 19th,
Yeah,
like 2014.
2014. That's right.
Yeah. I want to say it was in
So that
October.
looks
I
about
could be
right.
wrong, but yeah.
Yeah. So I probably started. I watched the Big House 4 first, and I think maybe I'd seen it at Evo because was it at Evo in 2014 as well?
Yes, that was the second Evo ever since like Melee's return to like Evo, because the first one was 2013.
Was 2013?
Hmm. So that if it was Evo 2014, then that would have been before Big House, because that would have been in the summer.
Right, right. And that was the one where Mango won that one, right?
Yeah, he won 2013 and 2014. Grand
Which
Finals in
which one did
2013
he
was
throw his hat in the
which
crowd?
that was no okay, he catches his hat in the set when he wins 2014 after hugging HBox after Grand Finals, and then he throws his shirt into the crowd after Losers Finals when he goes and plays against Wobbles in Grand Finals of 2013.
Yeah, okay. He takes his shirt off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember him throwing his hat into the crowd,
Yeah, so that must have
the
been
USA
2014.
hat.
That
So
must
that
have
was
been, yeah, that was
2014.
2014.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think that might have even been the first tournament that I actually watched. And then Big House was probably like that was probably the one that got me really interested in Melee
Hmm.
because I became a Mango fanboy. I gotta be honest. Like the run was just so sick, and yeah, and then 2015, I went to Paragon, which I think was in that was late 2015. So
Hmm.
I went to my first tournament the year after that,
Hmm.
which is
Yeah,
pretty soon actually, just still
yeah.
during high school.
Hmm. I think that Paragon, because you're talking about Paragon LA, which I think
Yeah,
was, I want to say that was summer 2015. I think I'm not
it
100%
was
sure on
definitely
that one.
2015.
Yeah,
It was like summer
early autumn.
like early autumn. Yeah, for
Okay,
sure.
okay. Um, would you say that any of like so would you when you watched it for the first time, was there like a period of like you being like strictly a spectator, or was it did you pretty quickly turn over from like spectator to like also like a player?
No, it was pretty much immediate for me and my friends. Like
Hmm.
there was probably like I mean, we didn't know that there were other people who were interested in Smash or played Smash in our high school.
Hmm.
We knew people wanted to play like Ultimate when or Smash 4 rather when that came out.
Hmm.
Um, and like that was probably when we got the most into PM
Hmm.
because we kind of like found out where they played. They played in like the basement of the locker rooms for the field
Hmm.
and the track and yeah, so like at lunch that's where they would go. They would and so we like took up a spot in there as well
Hmm.
and played PM for a bit, and then yeah, I think it was probably around that time we were like, okay, we're decent at PM, you know, it's time to switch over.
Hmm.
And we switched over to Melee. And you know, it was actually kind of difficult. I thought it was more difficult going from the 2 frame buffer back to no buffer.
Hmm.
I would get a lot of like definitely like a ton of missed inputs and like bad tap jumps because I turned tap jump off in PM
Right,
too. So
right.
that was also like kind of something that I had to adjust to at
Hmm.
first, and I
Yeah.
still get it a lot.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I think it was pretty immediate. Like once we were once we knew how to wave dash, we tried to get good. I
Hmm.
think. I think that's the best like way to put it. Like once we knew how to wave dash, we were like, okay, this is sick,
Hmm.
and we started practicing. I mean, like I remember, you know, Jose and James and myself, we would like play. We would play both PM and melee still. So we would play like PM until like 3 a.m.
Hmm.
and then like go to sleep and then like play melee the next day.
Hmm.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah, I definitely have like a lot of memories of just like playing like absurd hours of mail. Like I remember one day my second year, I woke up on my bed in my dorm room and two people that didn't live in my room, mind you, like my dorm room, were just in my room
Hmm.
sitting on the floor playing Melee. And I woke up and before I even got out of bed, the first thing I said was I was like, "Yo, can I hop in the roto?" And they just gave me my controller. And I don't think I got out of bed for like 4 hours. And I literally just
Holy
woke
shit.
up and started playing Melee. Second year was like my most degenerate time. But so you said you kind of got into it with some friends and stuff. Would you say that, uh, like, how would you say it was like getting into the game like with those other people? Like, did it feel like were you guys just kind of in it to have a good time? Were you in it to like, were you really like vying to like be the best in the group, or like was it, something a little in between or around that?
I think it was like in between. There were definitely periods of time where like we would each be better than the other person.
Hmm.
I think, you know, there's levels, right? So
Hmm.
at some point,
Definitely.
somebody would figure something out, and then they'd have the upper hand on one of the other people in the group.
Yep.
But I think mostly we did all want to see everybody else get better. Like I'm still kind of sad that Jose doesn't really play anymore because
Hmm.
I really enjoyed watching him get better and like seeing how good he could be at the game.
Hmm.
Like especially because he was like multi shining or not. I guess he wasn't doing multi shines super consistently, but he was like double shining back in high school. So
Hmm.
like he practiced I think Falco a lot back then.
Hmm.
He was telling me he would like if he was bored, it was like his OG fidget spinner. He would like take his controller out and just like
Uh-huh.
practice multi shines, which I'm sure was annoying as fuck in his classes. But
Yeah,
hey,
that's crazy, dude. I can't imagine. That sounds like, I mean, that's dedication though. I mean, I don't know if
yeah,
it's the right place, right time, but that's dedication. I mean, that's
I know,
beautiful.
right?
Um,
Well, I'm sure he was saving it until he was done with
yeah, yeah,
his
yeah,
work or whatever.
yeah,
I hope.
yeah. That sounds fun though. So would you say that you guys were like, did it feel like you guys were together because like, or not, how do I want to phrase this? Like, did it feel like Melee like was at the center of all of you and was like kind of like the thing that helped you like kind of gravitate towards each other, or did it feel more like it was like we were all gonna be hanging out no matter what, and it just happened to be Melee that like was the thing that kept us all?
I think it happened to be Melee
Hmm.
because I would say we didn't start playing Melee until like freshman year of high school,
Hmm.
probably. So yeah, I mean, I think maybe even later than that. It might have even been junior or not junior year, sophomore year. Sorry, that we started playing Melee,
Hmm.
and we were still playing PM in freshman year.
Gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, because that makes more sense.
Okay.
I think yeah, because we played other games together and hung out before, and like I'd been friends with Jose since junior high, and I was friends with our other friend James through like our AP World History class.
Hmm.
So like I think it just kind of happened out that we ended up all liking and wanting to play Melee, and it became like kind of one of our main hobbies.
Hmm.
We also
Right.
played like League. Jose's the one who got me into League of Legends. Curse you, Jose.
The I remember Dave was saying that he would grab he's like Dave in the episode just before this was like, yeah, like I'd probably follow, the community wherever they went if one day they just all woke up and didn't want to play Melee. And then he's like, as long as they don't pick like a shitty game like League of Legends.
Yep. I I'm with him there. If everybody just decided to just stop playing and start playing a different game, I would beg them not to play League.
Yeah, you'd be there for it, but conditionally.
Kind of. I've
Yeah.
been playing it like a tiny bit the past couple days actually,
Hmm.
and like I don't know, man. It's just such a waste. It's like only fun for 10 minutes, maybe. I don't know. There's only part of it that's fun, and getting to that point is just such a drag.
It's that 1v1 in solo gamer attention span where like you just want to like or
Yeah.
like in like fighting games specifically where like you get to just like play like five it's like hit training like high intensity
Hmm.
I can't remember it right now because I'm totally mind blanking, but uh yeah, that's like kind of how I feel with games too. Is like they need to be like that's my biggest thing with like MOBAs. I don't really enjoy like the laning phases. Like I'm not a big fan of like the slow build up like to the part of the game that I enjoy more every single game. Like in a game like Melee,
Right.
like I can play my favorite part of the game like right as like a little bit before the go appears, because Melee is great
Yeah.
like that. Um,
Yeah. I know what you mean.
so I guess you have a bit of a different perspective than like Sam and Dave who appeared in the first two episodes. But so what was your initial impression of like or actually before we get to that, what was your first tournament in what you would consider SB Melee? Like Yeah, or
Yeah.
like I guess also like when do you think that like SB Melee as like a region, like an established like, community of sorts, sort of existed, or at least like
Hmm.
to your knowledge.
Um, I mean, I think it probably began the year before I sort of like entered the scene.
So like around
Uh,
like it's like when it's like the Evo boom.
yeah, probably.
Hmm.
I would say that's probably accurate. Um, I know that the first tournament that I went to was uh, the first IV Vapor.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
Dude,
so
you're the third person in a
we went
row,
there.
or your first tournament in SB was an Ivy Vapor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
damn. Yeah, that's true. That's kind of where I met everybody. So
yeah. The it's crazy too because I feel like I can remember like I mean Dave I specifically remember appearing at an Ivy Vapor, but with like Sam and you, I feel like in my head I can like imagine seeing you guys at tournaments beforehand, and like I didn't even go to many tournaments at all before like Ivy Vapor either. Like I didn't go to like the
mhm.
HFH locals that much, and like I didn't really go to the Caleb TO Hillels as much. Um,
Right.
but what what would you say was like your initial impression of like the SB Melee community? Like, because I guess for you, like you had like being an SB native and like an SB local, like you have um you kind of like your friend group was in a way a like in a way like the first potentially the first like iteration of like SB Melee. So I guess like the community we now know as SB
Uh,
Melee.
yeah, that's true. Definitely, like our current community wasn't the same as it was back then. Like
Hmm.
back then, yeah, I think I found out about these tournaments through Chumpus actually
Really?
because
Okay.
he and his brother came through there a lot. Him to play Melee and his brother to play other fighting games. I think he played like Capcom and stuff.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, he told me about it one time. So it's possible that I had been at one of the Hillels before going to the Ivy Vapors, but I definitely feel like I remember Ivy Vapor being like my first like tournament,
Hmm.
just because I don't know, like walking in there and then like seeing the CRTs set up and all the people there, I was like, whoa, what the hell?
Hmm.
Like this is like kind of the local melee scene. Like this is it. I was like, oh shit.
Hmm.
And we had like Doomy was there, and like I played Doomy and Malachi a lot back then. Like almost every tournament, I got seeded into them in
Hmm.
round one or two because it's like the first and second seed. So
Yeah. Yeah, I recall I actually remember I think my first set against you. Because I remember very
yeah, that's
distinctly.
right. We did play once, huh?
I remember very distinctly. It might not have been our first set, but I do have a memory in Ivy Vapor where we played against each other, and I was playing Puff, and I remember you like made this in like what was it? I know it was on the fire transformation of Pokemon, and I remember you just threw out this F smash that was like on like a little bit of the like maybe a little bit of like the slant on the fire
Right.
transformation, and I just got like completely like caught off guard, just died like
Did like
immediately. Like it was
did like
like
catch you below ledge or something?
no, it was like in the middle of the fire transformation, like by the tree, so like it just was higher than like I thought.
Oh, I
So and I
see.
remember I was just like floating around, and I was like, all right, like I'm just gonna like kick him, and then like you just F smash, and it just like, and I was just like, okay.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's so. Given the
Yeah, I love the slopes.
yeah, that's Marth player things. The
Yeah, I think they. I don't know. I feel like the slopes in melee they're broken. They break the game.
they do.
Like the engine for some reason doesn't know how to handle like especially like changing direction on slopes. Like if you ever play Marth and you like forward smash or
Mhm.
sorry, I guess I should start before that. If you play Marth or any character really, you can there's a concept about like apparent hitboxes where like your hitbox actually like moves as your character moves. So like if you do a move while you're sliding
Right,
from a
right.
wave dash, it's like the apparent hitbox is bigger than the actual hitbox because it's like the movement is included in the apparent hitbox.
Hmm.
So you can do some whack stuff on slopes, especially like on the Yoshi's slope and the Pokemon slopes. With when you're sliding over them, if you do like down tilt or forward smash, like as Marth, when you're sliding over them, especially in towards stage,
Hmm.
when you level out, you get this sudden snap of like horizontal distance on your moves.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. I see what you're saying. I was like,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, I can visualize that. That's pretty interesting.
yeah, because it just like instantly snaps you up onto
Hmm.
that orientation.
Yeah, because a lot of because the geometry isn't like curves, it's like a collection of like lines.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, it's just it gets weird.
mhm.
And then when you're going like off, if you do down tilt, it moves it from like you can get a hitbox that's like both horizontal and then like downward angled.
Hmm.
It's like you'd have to time it very specifically though. Like
Hmm.
this is all kind of hypothetical.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of like a big part of I think like Melee's metagame advancement is like a bunch of people appear with like these. It's like okay, I've like made this comparison before to like in my head and like maybe to some other people, but I don't know that I've ever like talked about this to like SB Melee people. It feels like whenever someone like discovers or like kind of showcases a new like technique or idea, like it's like all of them are like trying to make a sales pitch to like the metagame and like then people like pick up on it, but instead of like a sales
Yeah.
pitch where you're like I think this is gonna work or not, like it's like a sales pitch where everybody gets like a demo of the product and then collectively the community like is like okay, this is good, let's incorporate it into the metagame. Now people have to find counterplay. And then other times it's like yeah, this kind of sucks, or like it's not consistent, it's not reliable, like it will stay a fringe thing that will get hyped over once every 2 years or so.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, I'm sure you remember people were saying shield dropping was kind of lame.
Mhm.
People weren't going to pick up shield dropping.
Dude, that's like the legendary Chillin' Dude post. I think he says I think I forget the exact wording, but he says actually let me search it right now because it's such a golden part of Melee history. Let's
Yeah.
see. Chillin' said, "Wave dashing isn't that appealing. It seems kind of stupid."
Oh,
Legendary
oh,
words.
chillin'.
And that's one of the most liked posts, post replies on Smashboards. It has like 120 plus, like, because people just like, everyone that comes across it with an account just thinks it's hilarious in retrospect. Um,
It's so funny. That is super funny.
Reeling it back
I
in,
think everybody should learn shield dropping for one thing. It opens up so many possibilities.
I guess, since you mentioned like shield dropping and like we're a little bit on like metagame development stuff, what are
Mhm.
your thoughts on like, uh, the line for like modding the game? Like sort of like where do you draw the line for like game modding and like where do you draw the line for like controller modding? Like what to you is like this is
Right.
fine, this is good? Like I guess yeah, there's like three lines. Like this is fine. This is good. This should be a thing. This is
Mhm.
fine. Like I can let this slide, and then like this is bad, like don't let this happen.
Right. So I think like for the most part, I'm up for most of the like actual game mods that people are down for. Like it's mostly stage things, right?
Hmm.
Like I'm actually down to like make Shy Guys non-collidable or something. I'd like
Hmm.
to keep Randall. I think Randall's sick.
Hmm.
Very interesting part of the stage and like, so timeless part of Melee.
Yeah,
At
totally
this point,
predictable.
yeah. It's also, yeah, true.
Hmm.
But the Shy Guys I think could go.
Hmm.
And like I think Frozen Pokemon is really good. Somebody, I think S2J said that he wanted to see something like both are available, both frozen and unfrozen Pokemon, and then FD's a counter pick, and then you get a ban in best of 5.
Okay, I mean that's really interesting. I think that
Yeah,
okay, that's really interesting.
interesting is the right way to put it. I
Yeah,
thought it was also interesting. I wasn't really sure how that. I'm not really sure how it will work out.
yeah, me neither. I mean, I know SDJ is like a gigantic like Pokemon Stadium picker, like
Hmm.
so that doesn't
True.
shock that doesn't shock me at all that he would want more Pokemon Stadium in the lineup, but I'm sure that it's not entirely like self-motivated.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure he's thinking about like the overall metagame too, because he was saying like he thinks that neutral Pokemon doesn't really like change the matchup spread for some characters too much, and actually having the transformations, but then also still having like FD and the Pokemon with platforms like would still be a little better for the matchup spread. Is that's my assumption for the reasoning. I
Hmm.
mean, he could just like the transformations and be
Yeah, it's
advocating for that
possible.
on that. But yeah,
I mean, it's kind of crazy with all of Stadium's like bullshittery that a lot of people still consider it like a more pleasant experience than just Final Destination, which is pretty much the simplest stage you can get, other than the slightly finicky wall to ceiling transition on the sides.
right. Yeah, I see it. I feel like the complaints that people have about FD in terms of it like sort of defining the way the game is like decided
Hmm.
in terms of like execution is kind of true. I mean, especially at top level, right?
Hmm.
We just saw Zayn go on in like a year and a half long tear because probably because he could just beat everybody on one stage every time.
Yeah, 0% or I guess 100% win rate to Fox over the past a year and a half on FD.
Right.
He's dropped a couple games to Mango, I think like two, like
Yeah.
literally a
Mango went
couple.
ham those tournaments.
Yeah, and then he has been yeah, but he's literally undefeated against Fox on FD.
Yeah, I've seen some close games
Oh
too
yeah, I remember
with him on
IBDW
FD.
ran it like really
Yeah.
close. I think he even went in
Oh,
with a
that's it.
one. I think he even ran in with like a one stock lead, like it was two stocks to one IBDW, and then he just lost because Zayn beat the shit out of him.
Yeah, it's just like at that point it's solved.
Hmm.
So anything that you can do to avoid getting into that situation is probably better.
Yeah, that's why
I
all the
would like,
Fox are picking up Sheik now.
yeah, exactly. I mean, I think it's pretty fun. I think Sheik's going to go pretty far.
Yeah,
Just going to
so
get some more development. It's going to be pretty interesting.
yeah, I think so too. So regarding like controller modding and stuff, like, so I'll just throw out a couple of things. So like for example, bigger like okay, let's say turning off tap jump and button remapping. Uh,
Hmm.
how do you feel about those two? Start off simple, but maybe controversial.
I generally think that like people are pretty fine to do what they want as far as controllers go. I
Hmm.
think that like the GameCube controller is not ergonomically designed, and most people have that in mind when they want to swap. And
Hmm.
then on top of that, a lot of people just don't like the button layouts, which are two very like understandable complaints about it.
Hmm.
So I generally, I guess, am for like allowing these things. I think button remapping is fine. Turning tap jump off is probably also fine, but I don't really know how you would do that. Can you just make a mod that like would turn it on and off? Probably the same
Yeah,
way you do this other stuff.
I'm not entirely sure the logistics of that, and I'm not gonna pretend I do, but that's just been something that I know has been a discussion of sorts in the works.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I guess I'd be for it. And
mhm.
then like the hitbox and stuff, I think that's pretty cool. I've
Yeah.
never really had a problem with that. I think
Hmm.
it's a little harder to detect when people are cheating using it.
Hmm.
I don't know if it's possible to like inject cheats into the game through your hitbox, but
Hmm.
I could see that being a problem in the future,
Yeah.
and especially in maybe if like people have like a turbo or something. Like
Right.
if you have a turbo button to analog like analog L press, which like triggers the tech without locking you out, or triggers an L cancel without locking you out of tech rather.
Hmm.
So you can just always consistently L cancel because you have like a turbo trigger.
Hmm.
basically. Like, how could you detect that? Like, they hit it once and it triggers the pull like 6 times or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. Or like or it's just something that you can hold down and like every frame it just does an input of like
Right,
soft L press or
exactly.
something. Yeah. They just,
Yeah.
I mean, you just put
Like,
that
how
on
do
the
you
bottom of your
tell?
box and sit it on your knee or something. No one would ever
You never know.
notice. Yeah.
It could just be on their face button. How could
Yeah.
you tell?
Yeah. Could be. Just press it down a little bit before they like where does the match starts, something like that. Yeah, it's definitely a can of worms of sorts, but I think it's one of those things where like a lot of people that have issue with it are like worried about they're like worried about the things that could happen rather than the things that are happening, because like a lot of the concerns so far that have been raised have turned out to be uh, unfounded. But you know, that's not to say that things will always be that way. I think it's wise to always be at least a little skeptical.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't really know if that's possible,
Hmm.
but it wouldn't surprise me
Hmm.
with something like as simple as just a turbo trigger.
Hmm.
But I I don't really know what else people are saying about him. Like, I haven't heard all that many complaints, I
Hmm.
guess.
Yeah, I haven't really either.
Yeah, I would just worry about like potential cheating.
Yeah,
You never
that's
know.
pretty fair.
They might inject a 10% damage buff onto Pichu or
Yeah.
something, like that one guy did on his
Dude,
Wii.
Pichu guy, yeah, Pichu
Yeah,
guy, the
the
legend. Plug
Pichu
into
guy.
port 4 and Pichu is just like a monster.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's one of like, even though like obviously that's like pretty detestable behavior in like a legitimate competitive environment, I feel like that story is like,
That was legendary.
yeah, it's like it's a very, uh, it's like a story that's fun to talk about, and like it's kind of like endearing that it happened.
Yeah, yeah. Like,
Um,
where did that even happen?
I think it happened at a Xanadu. I
It
remember
was
it
a
was like it was at a high. I know it was like a high profile local. Let me search. Melee
yeah,
Pichu.
it had to have been like local because people are bringing their own setups.
Yeah, if I so I just searched Pichu guy and it turns out it is because if you literally just search Pichu guy, like it comes up. Okay, so there's an
Or
MIOM post on Facebook. Let me let this load real quick. So um uh okay, it was PGH and NEOH, so like Pittsburgh and like Northern
okay.
Ohio, I think is what that
Hmm.
abbreviation is shorthand for. Um, but yeah, so it
Yeah,
was in that region, and yeah, that was for those of you who are watching that might not know, there was an infamous instance of somebody bringing their own setup that had mods so that if you plugged into port 4, Pichu's stats were just super heavily altered to make the character immensely stronger, and they almost got away with it, but somebody like figured it out, and then they kind of were. I think they were just banned from like all the local tournaments, and then that kind of,
yeah,
and then like their notoriety made it so they weren't really able to enter larger tournaments either. But I guess like on the topic of like local tourneys and stuff, are there any like this is a question I've been asking everyone, but
hmm
do you to you like personally, not trying to think about it like objectively, what do you think, if there is one, was like the golden or like was or is like the golden age of SB Melee?
hmm. The golden age. It's kind of hard to like, I guess, define it
Hmm.
because I have pretty fond feelings of like a couple different, I guess, time periods.
Hmm.
Like the time when I first joined, where I got to see like a lot of interactions between like Yink and Doomy and Malachi and Caleb and
Hmm.
Steven, and I got to see them play a lot and like interact. I always thought that that was sort of like an interesting, um, kind of like an interesting set of players at like the top level.
Hmm.
Just because I don't know it when you. I guess I'd only ever seen people that I thought were like really good at the game. Like when I watched streams, I would see the top players. But then I went and I played these guys, and they were like really good at the game, but in a more like achievable way. So it was like a lot of like, I guess, looking up to them
Mm-hmm.
as players. And then once I started talking to you guys and like sort of, I guess, getting to know you all a little bit more, it was like pretty cool. And then I think like probably the most like friendly that the community
Mm-hmm.
was probably like a couple years ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you would
Yeah,
say like at least like a few years ago was like the golden age for you, like around when you like maybe a year after you started like integrating into the scene.
yeah, probably.
Okay.
I think it was like around the times where Hillels were starting to stop happening.
Mm-hmm.
So like the year that Caleb graduated.
I think that was
Um,
2017. He graduated 2017. So
right. So
yeah.
that's pretty right then.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I'd started coming out to these tournaments like regularly. I was there like every week at that point.
Mm-hmm. Did have any tournaments in SB, like any SB like I guess like local slash like regionals, because we're including like lands and the like. Um,
Mhm.
do any of them strike you as like particularly like do you like what was like your best or worst like tournament experience in Santa Barbara, or like your favorite or least favorite tournament?
Um, this is a tough question. I think probably one of the Odysseys was probably my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
There was one Odyssey where I played doubles with Nesto, and we had like a really sick few sets. We beat Alex Rubio, Mr. Wonderful, and Army, who were
Mm-hmm.
teaming together, and that was interesting.
Uh-huh.
And then I think at that same tournament, I took a game off Jake
Mm-hmm.
and
Oh, I think I
beat
remember this
Nesto
one.
and Adam.
I think this was
Yeah,
Odyssey 2016.
I think so. Yeah, Nesto and Adam both SD'd against me in the last game, last stock. It was a pretty classic, if I say so myself.
Mm.
Yeah.
Would you and then any stand out as ones that were your least favorite or like ones that you had like particularly bad experience with?
Um, least favorite. Not really. I mean, no, I think for the most part, like every tournament was a pretty good experience.
Okay,
Yeah, there
that's
wasn't
fair.
anyone where I ever felt like,
This stands out as like awful.
yeah, I never like had a bad time or anything. If there was ever any like negativity, most of the time it was just like because I thought I played bad. So it was mostly myself, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Right.
I never like had a bad time or like felt negativity from the group or like the community or anything like that.
Hmm.
At least not really to my memory.
Okay. Okay. Um, do you think would you how would you say your view or like I guess how do you perceive SB culture, SB melee culture having like changed over time, like initial versus current impression?
Yeah, I think I've said a few times that like
Yeah.
when Nesto started like really trying to bring everybody together alongside like you and Alan and like really tried to get people to come out to tournaments and stuff. I think that was like probably the biggest change where
Mm.
you saw like everybody knew each other's names and like talked and knew what they were doing and like how they were. I don't know. I'm like, especially once people started talking more on like the Facebook chats, and then we moved over to Discord
Mm.
and all that. Like, it was yeah, and I think the Facebook chats even started earlier with like Yink uh and that group because I
Mm.
remember Yink being very very active in the
Mm.
Facebook chat.
Yeah. I remember as well.
Yeah.
Um, so would you say, in terms of like tournaments and stuff, like how do you view yourself? Like when it comes to Melee, are you like, what's your balance or like what's your distribution of like sort of just being in it like for the hell of it, like just taking all the fun stuff like just as it comes to you versus like
Mhm.
like actively like competing and like trying to improve and like using it and like viewing it as like a competition and not just like an interest that has formed a community.
I think it's pretty balanced for the most part, but I
Hmm.
definitely would like, in terms of like my mindset, I would definitely prefer to have fun
Hmm.
than like take it super seriously. Um, I like really want to be. I still want to be like really good at the game and like want to be like competitive, and that I think is like my biggest drive.
Hmm.
But above all, like if I'm not having fun with the game, like I don't want to play.
Right.
So I think like regardless of how competitive I am, I'm like in it mostly for the fun.
Hmm.
And I think that also goes kind of like with my choice of character. Like I really one of the things that drew me to Marth in Melee was like the level of movement that he has.
Hmm.
And I think like his movement above all is just super fun.
Hmm.
And like I'm sure Ganon players feel the same way and Luigi players sliding all around.
Yeah, I can see
The
it.
both of them, I mean.
They're certainly not attracted to them because they think they're the best characters in the game.
Right,
So there's got to be something.
right. So yeah, like I don't know. I I definitely like don't have or I haven't really like ever cared to be like the best in SB,
Hmm.
but I want to be like competitive. Like I do want to place well, and I've always wanted to like get top 8 and stuff at tournaments.
Hmm. You want to be
I just only
like,
haven't like a couple times.
you don't necessarily want to be the best, but you want to be good enough to like to like I guess like not like definitely not be bad or like above average type of thing.
Yeah,
Like you want to be on like the
the
good. You want to
competitive,
be on the good side. Like on the
right?
spectrum, you want
Yeah,
to be on the green side, not the red side.
the competitive aspect and like winning is sort of just like a byproduct of the being good at the game part,
Yeah,
which is like
definitely.
which is like the most driving thing for me. It's just
Yeah.
like being good at the game because I think it's kind of a beautiful game. I mean, the
Hmm.
game looks fucking beautiful, and the
Hmm.
movement, whichever character you're playing, looks sick.
Yeah. Hmm. I agree. Now, what would you say then are some of like your biggest like successes and struggles like with the game? Like all that said, like it doesn't even have to be like related to like, tournament results. It can just be like like
Right.
maintaining interest or something.
Yeah, I would say that definitely net play has been a big struggle for me.
Hmm.
I hate net play a lot. I think it's like a pretty different game than LAN,
Hmm.
and most of that is just like me being salty, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, it's
But
hard when it's just
yeah, it
another,
is hard.
it's just like a thing on the screen instead of like a person.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do get that there's a like a person on the other end, but
It's hard to remember.
yeah, I I definitely have more of like an easy time relaxing when
Hmm.
it's just like somebody next to me. I mean,
Yeah.
how could you not,
Yeah.
right?
It makes sense.
Um, so yeah, I think that that's been a struggle, and then another struggle is probably like autopiloting. My autopilot used to be like super bad,
Hmm.
and it's only like within the past year probably that I've started trying to like basically never autopilot
Hmm.
and always have like a correct idea for what I'm supposed to be doing
Hmm.
in a certain situation. And I think it's really helped me out. Um, one of my biggest problems used to be like I would full hop up air when I would try to like hit people on platforms, and
Hmm.
that would get me counter hit a lot because I'd just be like flying in the air basically after
Yeah.
my up air hit their shield. But now like always make sure that I'm short hopping, and I'll make sure that I'm fast falling so I can get like a good dash back or something, and like avoid like a punish afterwards if I don't get the hit. And it's helped a lot. And then like I think one of the biggest struggles I have is like implementing new tech into my gameplay.
Hmm.
I've recently tried implementing like retreating fair, like at a dash, which is just like not that difficult. You just have to flick the stick in the opposite direction and then like use your C stick to do the fair. But in order to like accurately space it, it's pretty difficult, especially against some characters that are really fast, like Fox and Sheik.
Hmm.
So that's been like one of the biggest struggles, is like remembering to try to do that and like doing it accurately rather than just like throwing it out when like I think it'll work.
Right.
And then I think one of my biggest strengths in Melee is probably um, my DI, or maybe just like my defensive game in general.
Hmm.
For some reason, like every once in a while things click, and I'll just like I remember there was one session of Melee I played with Johnny where I was just hitting like every slide off. Like every time he hit me on a platform, I would just hit a slide off, or like when he would hit me on stage, like, and he was about to hit me off ledge, I would hit like an AMSA and just be fine, like slide off, grab ledge or something.
Hmm.
And you know, it was like ridiculous, and I was like, I have no idea how I'm doing this. And then I've always thought my DI is pretty good, and my recovery mix-ups are tricky, pretty tricky.
Hmm.
Yeah, my spacing's decent, but I wouldn't say that's like one of my biggest strengths.
Hmm.
Um, I think my punish is pretty good. I actually used to be better at chain grabbing,
Hmm.
and I know that I've sort of like taken on the chain grab moniker on some things lately, but I used to be better at chain grabbing than I am now. Now everybody does like slide DI, and it's way harder to do the chain grab. So I think that probably has something to do with it.
Yeah, that's
But
fair.
like, I feel like I was even just better at the pivot tech, like doing it over and over.
Hmm.
So I do want to improve my punish game still. And then I've been seeing people, they're doing these pivot down smashes now, because super tip or down smash is just wicked strong.
Yeah, since yeah, and it killed off the top too.
Yeah, crazy. Like 120 kills on that move
Hmm.
on some stages. I'm just like, this is nuts. I see these Acid X or whatever, his clips, and
Hmm.
Forrest's clips. They're both doing it. And I think the last time I talked to Sam, he was saying Dave was doing them too. Did he say anything about that?
I don't think so. I don't recall that. It's like the web of topics I kind of navigate with each person like is a little bit different each time. Like there's some
Yeah,
stuff I make sure
I
I want to
figured.
hit, but yeah. I wouldn't be surprised though. I mean, he's always kind of been one to be pretty willing and able to integrate new
Hmm.
stuff into his gameplay. Uh,
He's good at it too.
mhm,
He's very accurate.
mhm. What do you think? Or actually, real quick before I forget, if you ever find yourself in a situation, this is kind of a random tidbit of information against a puff, and you have time to rest punish. If you just walk up to them, so like let's see, where's like something I can use?
Oh, I see.
Okay, so if this is like puff right here, right, and
Hmm.
this trident gum is Marth, and this is like the direction he's facing, like so like this is like his face, this is like his back. If you
Yeah.
walk up to puff, like push into her, and then you roll into her. So like you get on the other side. You'll be auto spaced for F smash tipper and down smash tipper.
Oh, really?
Hmm. Yeah, that's something I
Okay.
learned.
Understood.
I forget where I learned that from. I think it was like an old. I think it might have been an old Smashboards post or something. But I remember that like blew my mind at the time. Was that like it just worked every single time. Um,
That's interesting. Yeah, I've never heard that. So
mhm.
I'm gonna use that on a
I mean,
puff on
yeah,
replay
if it,
now.
yeah, I mean, if you get the chance, it's pretty good. You just walk up, roll, and then charge down smash, and they die at like on FD. She dies at like 60 something, like to like full charge
Really?
down smash. Yeah, it's pretty. I
Oh
mean, it's really
wow.
it is really strong. The tipper
Yeah.
of it. I think actually though, with down smash, the second hit is strong. Has higher knockback. Uh,
Really?
let
Is
me
it like a
fact
more
check myself.
vertical trajectory? That sounds
Um,
right. I mean,
yeah, I think it is, and it might actually just straight up have like a higher knockback value. Let me
mhm.
see. I'm on the Smash wiki right now, which has questionably accurate information, but I'm pretty confident that, like, you know, if I'm not looking at like Pichu up angled forward tilt, that like it's
Is there like a
probably safe.
framedata.com?
There probably is. I just clicked on the first result because I'm big lazy, but let me see. Down smash. Uh, yeah, the second hitbox. Oh, is it the first hitbox?
Melee
It might be the first hitbox is stronger. Well, I know one of them is stronger than the other. Um,
Down
yeah, it
smash.
looks like hit one. Wait a second. Yeah. Hit two has slightly different stats, and
How strong is it?
they're both really similar. I guess the difference, yeah, is it looks like the uh knockback angle is slightly. It looks like it's slightly more vertical, yeah, on the back hit. So
Is
yeah,
that what it is?
yeah,
Okay.
and then it has slightly higher base knockback on the second uh, part of the hitbox, but I'm not sure how relevant that is because you're hitting the tipper anyway. So yeah,
Yeah.
little fun
I
fact, I
think it only
guess.
matters if you're it only matters if you're trying to get like a more horizontal hit because I think the inside hitboxes hit very horizontally, and you can
Yeah,
actually get some nasty like on FD or not FD, sorry, uh, like on Yoshi's, you can get some nasty like kills at the edge if you just like do a wave dash in down smash and like
because
catch
like,
them with
okay,
the inner hitbox.
yeah.
I do that sometimes because puffs like to stay on the ground, so
hmm Dude, one
you
of
can
the
trick.
I remember one of the things I was always waiting for to take off before I realized like it's just never gonna take off was like the inner hit of up tilt that does like the weird like forward like
Oh,
straight
what do you
angle.
mean? It's no, it's so taking off, dude. Up tilt's broken. You're
Yeah, up tilt's
right.
insane. Up tilt's
I
insane.
swear, I swear Zane does it on purpose now.
Oh, like the wacky like sour spot hit that
Yeah,
like has stupidly high base knockback. Yeah, I
yeah,
believe it. I mean, his he also is super good at power shielding out of up tilt, which is, or up tilting out of power shield. My bad,
right,
which is crazy.
right. Yeah, you can definitely trick people now too, because like on FD, if you do it near the ledge, you do it just late, and you
hmm
catch them, and you like turn around so that they're DIing like out or something, and they get caught with the hitbox and just launch off stage. You know,
hmm
you can catch people with that.
hmm Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff that I think is underexplored. Even still, like Zane himself has talked a lot about how he feels like he has a lot of room for improvement.
Yeah, yeah. I remember saying once that he pulled out the no impact land up tilts against H box
hmm
like at Genesis, and I haven't really seen it very much since. He hasn't really kept up the consistency on that tech, which I
hmm
think is like a really good tech.
Yeah, oh, yeah, dude, stuff like that is like I think crazy. Like the sort of ECB manipulation stuff is like it is super crazy.
Yeah,
Because like spacing stuff is harder than like timing stuff in Melee. Like it's way harder to like doing like 60 frame perfect. I mean, doing like 200 frame perfect multi shines is probably the same dip. Like it might even still be easier than getting two phantom hits in a row. You know. So
yeah, maybe.
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, yeah. I mean, but the fact that it's 200 of like a pretty fast input versus like two,
True.
yeah. So
I
I
do wonder
guess
if there's a way.
me too. So kind of bringing it back a bit, what would you say for yourself? Uh, if have you had any like rivalries, kind of at any point in like
rivalries.
playing. I know that's like a hard pivot into a totally different topic, but I kind of want to.
No, I
I'm kind of
understand it.
curious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I've always thought that like my sets against Alan were always really close, and we
Mm-hmm.
had like a pretty back and forth spread. I think there were a lot of times where you could say we probably had like a competitive rivalry,
Mm-hmm.
and then I also think that like I want to say like Nesto and I had sort of a rivalry, even though like in tournament he would always win,
Mm-hmm.
but I think mostly it's just I always knew that there would be those times where I would beat Nesto, and it would just be like Marth against Luigi, and those were just the most satisfying ones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you get to cheese some Luigi's and it's one of your better friends, it's always more satisfying.
Yeah. Definitely. I feel that. Um. And when you say Alan, of course, like you're referring to resident Squirtle shampoo Alan, not Alan the
Yes.
yeah the Alan the Peach Genesis To kind of person, Alan,
Yeah,
not
not
To
that
like
Alan.
organizer person.
I
Yeah.
never got a chance to play against him or even really meet him, but
Hmm.
yeah, I always heard about his involvement in the scene.
Yeah. He was a I mean he was a good player, and he was a really chill guy to like hang out with. Like he's real funny, and like I I remember yeah, I remember he's just like a really friendly dude.
Yeah, yeah. I think there was one time where we like said hello. I think it was just like at maybe like Genesis or something.
Hmm.
He was just like nearby, and I was talking to some SB people he knew, something like that. Yeah, I don't remember too well, but yeah,
Do you have okay? So I guess since we like touched on like rivalries and stuff, are there any sets that you like really remember as being like, particularly like triumphant or like heartbreaking, like just emotional like sets that like you have like strong memories of?
yeah, definitely. The one that gets brought up a lot is
I know which one.
my loss to who was it? Was it Beijing Buster?
Good old
Is that
Edgar.
who it was? I think so.
That was at an Arcadian?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah, I'm
yeah. I was
thinking of
at
the
an
right set then,
Arcadian.
the right tournament.
I got back throw shined, and I knew it was gonna happen too. I don't know why I jumped. It was like one of those like don't do it, and then your body does it
Oh,
because you're telling yourself not to
okay.
do it.
No, no,
Somehow.
no. You're
I
talking
don't think it
about.
was.
I know who you're talking about. You're talking about
I forget who it was.
no, I remember. It was at one of the lounges and you were playing against oh, why can't I remember the name right now? Surely somebody in chat remembers. It was
Where's
I think it was
Nesto when you need him
Shane.
to
It
bring it
was
up?
the tag was Walco Falco Flame.
Falco Flame. Yeah,
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
it was
that's the one.
Shane. He was
Yeah.
good too.
Yeah, I remember
Oh,
that set.
I can't
Yeah.
believe I got back to it. I greeted for some like I did some wacky up B
Hmm.
on his Firefox, and I think it got shielded by the
Hmm.
Firefox shield. It was so stupid. I can't believe that didn't hit.
Hmm.
And if I just F smashed, I would have won right then, but I
Hmm.
didn't. And then I got back throw shined.
Right.
Oh, I'm so dumb.
Yeah, that one I
I took it
very
well.
remember
I
that
took
one.
it well, but I did not. I didn't really enjoy that moment.
Yeah, I
No,
mean that's
how
very
could you?
fair. Yeah. Um.
So that one was unfortunate. Gets
Mhm.
brought up a lot.
But any
Um,
so do you have any like ones where you remember being like particularly strongly like in a positive light?
yeah, yeah, I do remember. There was one. It was at the Arcadian that I think Alex Rubio won it.
Hmm.
Um,
Oh, I know. Okay, also a lounge tournament. Yep.
yeah, also a lounge tournament. Cause I think that was that even the same one?
I think it might have
I think
been.
it might
I
have
think it might
been.
have been as well.
Oh shit,
I
yeah,
know it was an Arcadian. Yeah.
because I like ran it back, and I like made it back to. I made it back. Oh no, I think Commas won it.
Oh, okay. Two separate ones then. Two separate ones. I think. I could be mixing it up, but yeah, I know you are right that Wonderful won one of them and David won one of them.
Wonderful did win one of them. I think it was that one.
I'm almost positive. Yeah.
Yeah, because what was the other Marth player who was there? He had the name where he was like Big Dick something.
Oh, are you talking about? Wait, are you talking about Sean or no?
Yeah, I am talking about Sean.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he's gone through a ton of tags, so.
Yeah, he had something at that one, but
Yeah.
I just remember in our first game in that set, we played on FD, and he like rocked me 2 stocks, and I was just like, oh fuck no, dude, I'm not gonna lose to another Marth right now. And I like ran it back super hard and ended up winning the set super well, and I felt pretty good about that one. I was like, hell yeah, dude. And I liked that tournament because I made like a pretty strong losers run, I think. And then I guess another tournament that I remember pretty strongly, or a set rather, was when I beat Steven at the SBCC tournament.
Yeah, at the Shoreline tournament. I remember that one as well.
Yeah. I didn't know like any context of like, I heard afterwards that he was like pretty hungover and like, I don't know. I was going into the set like really prepared to play against Luigi, especially because I thought that like his gameplay is a little more linear than Nesto's is, and especially at the time it was a little more too. So I felt that I could exploit that and like control center and sort of like let him go to the ledges and just like play around the invincibility. And it ended up like working out, and then I just like threw him up.
Right.
And then like sort of his lack of preparedness and disorientation did most of the work.
Yeah, I mean, you still have to play to the finish line, you know. So
yeah, I definitely felt good that tournament.
Yeah, I mean that's I remember getting that report, and I was like pretty shocked because it was like I think it was 2-1 if I recall correctly.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Viewers in chat, if you guys have any questions, this is a good time to drop them in as I kind of move to the end of the questions that I want to ask. But one of the last ones I wanna ask you is what I guess I just had it a second ago. We're talking about Shoreline. We were talking about terms. Oh, I was gonna ask you about matchups you like and dislike, or / like think you're good at or bad at, both character and player.
Okay. I think I'm actually pretty like versatile as far as matchups go now. I used to have like, it used to be much more binary, I think. I would say my weakest matchup is probably like Falcon or Falco. And I think my least favorite matchup is probably Falco. I think Falco overall is just like the most exploitative of Mark's weaknesses, which are mostly like compounded by laser. I've always thought that like power shield is the only true consistent option against laser, and like getting good at power shielding is like really hard. So I haven't put the time into that quite yet, but I'm like decent at it. So like luckily if I'm like really on my game, I'll like throw in a couple power shields, and generally it's enough to like get people to be scared. And that's generally what you're going for. Like you don't want to have to power shield every laser.
Yeah, just enough of them.
Like you're just sad.
Yeah.
Stuck in anti lag. That little bit of lag when your shield is coming in and out from power shield. It's just no fun. Yeah. But even that's not like super consistent because there's options. Like Johnny was telling me about some laser setups you can do where you laser and then you just time the second laser to go over the first laser.
Hmm.
So like when the laser comes back power shielded, you just jump over the laser and laser again.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so but yeah, luckily I've had a lot of exposure to a lot of matchups.
Hmm.
I'd say, I mean, if I'd have to like pinpoint the matchup I do the worst in, like in tournament, is probably Fox. Fox is like the best punish game against Marth, I think,
Hmm.
because up throw up air is so integral. So I have to put a lot of work into like the tech and the tech timing.
Hmm.
That's probably like the only way to really like dominate the matchup is tech every or ASDI every up air. And you get the ASDI timing better is what I meant to say a second ago.
Hmm.
But yeah, luckily I enjoy floaty matchups a lot.
Hmm.
So I don't really have a problem playing against like Peach or Puff or like Luigi even.
Hmm.
Samus is probably the most annoying floaty.
It's fair. It's fair.
Yeah, you just can't combo her. So it's like you have to get 1 or 2 hits maybe.
Hmm.
And then you just anti-air and air like nonstop and hope you don't get hit. Hope you space it right.
Right. Right.
I played I think there's this Samus Zorb.
Hmm.
I played this guy Zorb, and gosh, he just played like he would just go off stage and then jump back on missile twice. You know, he'd just do like run off stage, low missile, land, low missile again, and then go on platform, drop missile, missile. It was like, okay, leave me alone, dude. Stop sending all these missiles at me.
Yeah.
Just come talk to me face to face, bro.
Hmm.
Yeah, I guess projectiles
That's fair.
just make Marth sad.
What about player matchups?
Oh, player matchups. I've had good sets against Johnny. Somehow there's like a mental block for Johnny to beat me in tournament. There were a couple times where it was like super close, and then I would just get like one reversal, and it would just be like curtains. Like I remember there was one time we were on the last set, last stock on Dreamland, and he was like holding ledge as I was recovering from like a high hit back air,
Hmm.
and I just saved my jump, and he didn't realize, and then like coming off ledge, he got down aired because I had jumped over, and like yeah, if he just done like almost any other option that wasn't like drop off ledge, he would have probably beat it. And it was just like, oh, so unlucky.
Hmm.
But like I guess you just gotta keep your eye on everything that's happening and recognize when somebody has their options.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean that it's there's a lot to keep track of, and yeah, that's definitely I think one of the things that is like I mean that's something that is definitely something that you can improve at and will improve your gameplay is like recognizing scenarios like like the resources players have available to them like crouch cancel percents, like do they have their double jump right now, like are they locked out of attack timing. That's something that I never hear people talk about really, but I remember people talked at least as if they knew about that back in like 2011, 2012, like people would talk about like setups where like oh this is like unlike techable, like if they tech this move, like you can do this move and like they're still locked out or something, and I'm like that doesn't sound right at all, but like these players were like way better. I don't even know if they, I mean it could be right, it
Yeah,
could be wrong, it could be that all the useful discourse on that has already happened, but yeah. um all right though, I mean on that note, before you go to the negative side, I guess it's a good time to integrate. Ernesto's asking, who's your hardest or most dreaded player matchup?
probably Jake Peskin.
Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah, He was definitely the most like frustrating Sheik to play against, and like I think overall his play style is very effective against mine,
Mm-hmm.
because he was like the first person that really like made us start thinking about like the times we weren't moving as well. And now I do it a lot. There's moments where like normally when you would expect the person to be dash dancing, I'll just stand still, like, and then I'll start dash dancing, or like I'll stand still and then I'll dash back and dash dance in that spot instead. Make that the reaction point. And those like moments of like standing still can actually help you like be actionable when you need to be,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to like being in a dash motion or like in like turnaround or something. And so I've started thinking about that more.
Mm-hmm.
And that was very effective when I was a little bit younger and would just like hold forward the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely one of those players beforehand.
I think that's a phase everybody goes through at some point. Hopefully, not everyone makes it out of it, but I think that's one that everyone goes into at some point.
Yeah.
And then they
Yeah,
graduate to
probably.
down holders after being forward holders.
It's true.
Mm.
Holding down changed my life.
It's a good option. Another question from earlier was Sam was asking, fuck Mary Kill, Austin's
Oh
Sheik,
gosh.
Ernesto's Sheik, and Alan's Sheik.
Oh gosh. I gotta give this some thought. Alan plays. What color Sheik does Alan play? Neutral
I think he plays.
or
I think of him
white?
as like a white Sheik, white slash
White
black.
Sheik.
However, people call it different things. But yeah, that's what I think
Neutral's
of.
blue, right?
Yeah, neutral is blue, Sheik, pink Zelda.
Yeah. I think Austin plays neutral, and Nessa plays green. Yeah.
I think Nesto. I feel okay. I think Nesto and Alan both play white, and I think Austin plays.
Maybe
I
he
think he
does
plays
play
neutral
white.
or green. He plays neutral or green. I'm
Maybe
pretty
Austin
sure.
plays green.
Yeah, but
Because this factors into the decision, of
mm-hmm.
course.
Okay. Nesto, can
I
you
would
confirm
say,
what sheet color everybody plays potentially?
yeah, please.
We need the intel, or I guess anybody who can. But yeah, we need the
See,
details.
I like a Sheik with good curves. You know,
Yeah.
kind of lean, but also like something you can grab onto. You know what I
Right, for
mean?
sure, for sure. I think that, but I'm pretty sure Nesto and Alan both play white, and then Austin, I
Right.
think, has historically played green, but he might have switched.
Okay,
I think
then
I've seen
yeah,
him play multiple
I think it
colors.
was. I think it was mixing up the colors is all.
Okay.
I would say. Hmm. I guess fuck Alan's Sheik because she's got the hands.
Mm-hmm.
Kill
Oh,
Nesto's Sheik.
Austin plays
Just
blue / neutral, according to Nesto.
okay. I'm gonna kill Nesto's Sheik
Nice. Okay.
because it's the most degenerate,
All right.
and then I guess I'm gonna marry Austin's because it's more honest than Nesto's.
Okay. It's a good answer. It's a good answer. Another question was Nesto's asking best venue.
Best venue.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Zoda's was a pretty great venue.
Mm-hmm. Would that be
I
your
was
answer,
surprised that we. Sorry.
So that's your. Do you think that's your answer?
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I mean, I was just shocked that we ended up playing melee tournaments there. I never in a million years would have expected that. Like, I literally used to play like arcade games and bowling there when I was like 7 years old, you know, and then I'm there when I'm 18, 19 years old playing melee.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
It was kind of surreal.
I remember. I'm not sure if you know the story behind how we got the Zoto's venue, but maybe that's a good time to like. Do you know it?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
yeah.
So,
As far as I know,
mhm.
you can tell it.
Oh, I'm curious what you think, like your impression first.
Oh, as
Like
far
as
as
far as
I
you know, yeah.
knew, Austin knew a guy who worked there,
Hmm.
and then they talked to him about getting a venue, and he was like, "Yeah, if you want to rent it on Mondays, like it's $50. Nobody rents it on Mondays or
Hmm.
something. Whatever day we had it, I think it was a
Yeah.
Monday first.
I think it was. I almost positive it was Mondays. Yeah.
Right?
So yeah, I
Yeah. So
mean,
that's all I knew.
I think that that rounds out then, because I think checks out because I recall Zoto's actually messaged the I think it was the I think it was a page like the black and blue page perhaps because
Oh,
they
really?
reached out to ask like, hey, we got a room that like we're trying to like rent out on these days and like uh you know, if you guys want to host tournaments here, like it's just $50 a night and like it's just on Mondays, like you can host it like I think like weekly or bi-weekly or something like that. And we and so it would make sense because I remember wondering at the time like how does this person even know to like contact us? But like what you said, I think would help explain that. Like, because I that
Uh
makes a
huh.
lot of sense. And then
Yeah, I didn't know that it sort of like came out of the blue for the tos.
yeah, and so I think myself and Jake talked about it, and like we ended up being like, yeah, I mean, this seems like a really cool opportunity. Like, I don't see a real reason to say no. Just a matter of ensuring we have, like, we can just consistently pay the venue fee, which we were totally fine with being able to do.
Right.
But yeah, that was yeah, that's I mean that was a great venue I think as well. SB Melee has
Yeah,
had
we
an
got kind of
insane
lucky.
number of venues, honestly. Like we've had tournaments in like the in so many places, classrooms,
Yeah,
houses, restaurants, like yeah, all over
yeah,
the
we've made
place.
it work.
Yeah, most definitely. Um, Christina, I'm gonna need some elaboration on your question, or whether that be more details, or if you're just joking around. Um, but
What was the question?
it's just all it says is SB Melee waifu question mark. I don't know exactly
SB
what
Melee
she's.
waifu question mark?
Yeah, I know Ernesto would say Alan probably. I think
Yeah,
that's pretty accurate.
I don't know. I don't really have a bromance with anybody in SB Melee.
Hmm.
Maybe sad, maybe not. But yeah.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fine. But other than that, if you guys have any other questions, please feel free to ask. Otherwise, I think we can like wrap up stuff. But please feel free if you have any questions that come to mind last minute, just throw them into chat, and I'll make sure to pick up on them. But otherwise, if that's not the case, then it's been a real good time hosting hosting you here
Yeah,
and like having you
thanks
on
for
the
the
this little
questions.
podcast. Yeah, yeah, I'm glad to be putting this together. I'm hoping that it kind of becomes greater than the sum of its parts by the time I'm like done with it.
Hmm.
Um, I just kind of want to leave something behind, like more tangible than the experiences I provided or helped provide. I shouldn't say that it was like all on me.
Yeah, I
So,
think that's pretty cool. Yeah,
mhm.
I think like overall SB Melee has definitely like grown, and it's always sort of been like part of the melee scene in a way. I think SB and Southern California in particular is like always going to be very much into melee,
Mhm.
and we're always going to be like in the scene. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
once land tournaments start up again, I think I'm going to see everybody there.
Oh yeah, I feel the same way. I think it's gonna. I mean, everyone's waiting, right? Like everyone is
Exactly.
counting
I
on the
mean,
days where we can go back to
yeah,
land. Like as great as Slippy is, like it's just not the same. I think for most people would agree.
yeah,
Um,
I agree. Yeah, I'm interested in seeing like if SB gets new players or continues having a scene
mhm.
once the current people who have been running the tournaments and stuff aren't here anymore.
Yeah. Hmm.
We'll see,
Yeah.
but there's hope.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that it'll be fine. That's my honest opinion. Is it possible that it's not? Yeah, but I have faith. Someone someone has always rose to the occasion.
Yeah,
whether they
that's how
wanted
I
to or
feel too.
not. Someone is always playing. But yeah, I think that about wraps it up. I really appreciated having you on. Thanks for
Yeah, I
chatting.
appreciate being here.
Mhm,
Thanks for having me.
no problem. But yeah, just thanks for the commentary and input. I'm gonna update the playlist to have um, the Dave episode uploaded. Let me go and link that in the chat right now. I'll link the whole playlist in the Discord server in a moment. But my plan is just to
Sweet.
post the previous episode when I finish any of the other episodes. So I'll drop that link in
Right on.
chat. And then
Yeah, I need to watch this.
yeah, other than that though, tomorrow at 8 p.m. I'm having Steven on the podcast. And then that's gonna be at 8 p.m. and he will be the only one tomorrow. So be sure to tune in if you're interested in that. I appreciate the people who kind of are here just to, like, hang out, throw some questions out and stuff. So
Yeah,
other than
thanks
that though,
everybody who asked something in the
mhm.
chat.
Yeah, just hope to see you guys tomorrow, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.
All right.